Anger. You know how it is. It can just flare up in a second, but the damage, that can last a lifetime. So today, we're going to dive into how we can master it and find a real path to peace.
So, let's just start with a really direct question. And I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. Does anger rule your life? Do you find yourself reacting with that hot flash of frustration more than you'd like? It's a huge question because the answer really shapes so much of our lives.
And here's the thing about anger. It's a trap. In the moment, it feels powerful, right? Like a release. But that feeling is a total illusion. The tiny bit of temporary relief you get comes at an absolutely massive cost, causing permanent damage to our relationships, to our respect, and even to our destiny.
So, let's frame this the right way from the get-go. We're going to look at anger for what it truly is, man's great enemy. It's this internal battle we all have to fight. And, understanding your enemy is always the first step to winning.
Now, to guide us on this, we're not just making things up. We're leaning on two incredible pillars of wisdom. We've got the deep spiritual insights of the sage Wasif Ali Wasif, and, of course, the timeless guidance from the Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So let's start at the beginning, the starting point of destruction. See, anger is almost never just a one-off thing. It's more like the first domino that gets knocked over, setting off a whole chain reaction of disaster.
This really powerful piece of advice comes from a famous story. A man came to the Prophet Muhammad and asked for just one piece of advice that he could hold on to for his whole life. The answer he got was incredibly simple, incredibly direct. La taghdab. Do not be angry.
But here's the kicker. The man wasn't satisfied, so he asked again, and he got the same answer. He asked a third time, and again, the same answer. Now, this isn't because there was no other advice to give. Repeating it 3 times was meant to scream out how absolutely critical, how central this one single command is.
And that repetition tells us something huge. It tells us that anger isn't just another sin or a negative feeling. No, it's the root system. It's the fertile soil where all sorts of other evils can start to sprout and take over our lives.
And you can see how it just spirals out of control, right? When we're angry, we say things we don't mean. We might start slandering someone or throwing around false accusations. That can lead to lies and deceit, to cutting off people we love. Then comes the desire for revenge, and in the worst cases, it can literally escalate to violence and even murder. It all starts with that one little spark of anger.
The Prophet also gave us this incredible metaphor. Anger is like a burning fire inside of you. And what does fire do? It consumes everything. In this case, it's consuming the most important thing we have, our ability to think clearly. When that fire of anger is raging, our reason, our intellect is completely blinded.
Okay, now let's turn to our second pillar of wisdom, the insights of Wasif Ali Wasif. He really helps us understand how this internal fire specifically burns and damages our most important relationships.
Wasif Ali Wasif just lays it out so clearly. Look at how anger poisons each specific connection. When it's directed at your parents, it can actually lead to their curses, which is a spiritual catastrophe. Between a husband and wife, it plants these little seeds of hatred that just grow and grow. And among friends, it can cause the complete and total ruin of that friendship.
This quote from him just says it all, doesn't it? The point here is that controlling your anger isn't just about being polite or being a good person. It's literally a form of self-preservation. If you save yourself from anger, you save yourself from total destruction.
Okay, so we've really defined the problem, and it sounds pretty intense. But what's the solution? Well, the good news is the same sources that tell us how bad the disease is also give us the cure. So let's walk down this path to peace together.
Here we go. 5 concrete, actionable steps you can take right in the heat of the moment. These are not just nice ideas. This is a real-world, practical toolkit for shutting down anger as it starts to rise up. Let's look at the genius behind them.
I mean, the logic here is just beautiful. Performing wudu or ablution, well, what puts out fire? Water. It's a physical act to extinguish a spiritual fire. Changing your position. If you're standing, sit down. If you're sitting, lie down. It literally disrupts the physical state of anger in your body. It's a pattern interrupt. And remaining silent, that's the emergency brake that stops you from saying words that can cause permanent damage. And of course, seeking refuge is admitting, hey, I can't do this alone, and asking God for help against Satan's whispers.
And then there's that 5th step, forbearance and forgiveness. This is where we go from a short-term tactic to a long-term transformation. This is about building a character, a heart that is slow to anger and quick to forgive. And we're told that this is a quality of those who are most beloved by God. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right?
So let's bring this all home. Let's boil it all down to one final, powerful message you can take with you.
I want you to think about it like this. Anger is a weakness in your defenses. It's like leaving the front door to your house unlocked. It's the easiest way for Satan, the source of all that negative whispering, to just waltz right into your life and create chaos. Managing anger is about locking that door tight.
And this is the ultimate payoff. This quote says it all. When you control your anger, you're not just saving a friendship or having a better day. You are, in a very real way, saving your entire existence, your life in this world and your fate in the next. The stakes are truly that high. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to really chew on. We all have these doors. After seeing the incredible damage anger causes and the very clear path to controlling it, there's really only one question left. Which door will you choose to close for Satan today?